And don't say I consider myself a Moor because it's the last stronghold of whatever, but then you're co-signing with a guy calling himself black and calling other people black, when you know that you're a Moor and you're there and you're not even saying nothing about it. You know that you're a Moor and that you're tied to the stronghold of a worldwide nation, and you're not saying nothing about it. You're going to criticize other people who consider themselves Moors or whatever, instead of going out there and doing the work that the people that you're criticizing is doing. Right? They are too busy on YouTube trying to gather rather than be in the streets or making a statement saying what we are trying to teach, even though, you know, this comment comes from YouTube. But we won't go there about people on YouTube, right? If they truly are, they would be on the front line for the people. They want to awaken to their true selves. If what they are saying is true and exact, you can't be teaching online and expect to see fast results. You have to make your own presence known to those who are asleep, and go to these places or have Moors in these places to go and put the footwork to the street and begin to teach. All prophets were on the streets dealing with the people. All prophets didn't have internet. So where the hell else are they going to be at? Guarantee if the prophets had internet, they wouldn't be out here wasting their time with people who they know are not going to appreciate the fact that they're coming to teach them, because we have the track record of all the prophets to know that when the prophet goes to some people, those same people that he went to, they murder him. There's a track record of that. So it will be wise for the prophet to stay the hell home and teach online and not be around these savages up here who don't have any honor and have no respect. Right? They just don't gravitate towards information via one source. You have to attack all platforms of the matrix on all levels. It's sad to say, but they have to take the L, because this is the second killing where people are using the Moors dialect and they got killed. And we can't forget the Moor in St. Louis. Right?
I don't understand what he said.
So basically that Moors are talking shit because Moors get shot up too. Basically what they're saying. Right? Moors have to just be quiet, not say anything anymore, because, you know, we have examples of Moors who are known Moors that got killed. Right? And that people who talk like how the Moors talk, if anybody got killed that talk how the Moors talk, it's because of the Moors why they got killed. When information doesn't belong to any group of people or whatever like that. Information is universal. Right? And it's like we're saying, find me a Chinese that you're going to convince is not Chinese because a Chinese got shot somewhere. Like, you're actually going to tell them a Chinese just got shot. So you can't say that you're Chinese anymore because the Chinese just got shot.
And it's your fault.
And it's your fault. A Chinese got shot, or it's your fault that they got shot because you're Chinese and they shouldn't have got shot because Chinese people say lei ho ma and he said lei ho ma, and then now that's not a reality. That's an illusion, right? You have to attack all platforms of the matrix. What all platforms of the matrix? The matrix is one platform. They plug you in and then you go to one place. It's not like, you know, when they plug them into the matrix, they had them go into all these different realms and worlds of existence or whatever. They went to one place. Maybe there might be, you know, plethora of individuals in the matrix that are against whatever, but the matrix itself is one platform.
I don't get his argument. You're telling me that he's saying that
Not just him, there's others that
there's others that
this.
think that the reason our people are being murdered is because we are calling ourselves Muslims.
Select ones. So the shooting with the sister that just happened. You heard about that one?
No, but I
Here?
was looking at your video. and-
Here it happened?
No. Where? Yeah, Korean Games. The one that had the son.
I was
And
seeing
the
your
shotgun,
video, yeah.
shotgun in the house, whatever, raid the house and then whatever. So they're saying that because she was talking about, well, in a previous video, she was talking about delegation of authority and stuff like that, and, you know, in their mind, that's Tajud-based teachings.
And so that's the reason she
So
was
that's the
murdered.
reason why she was murdered,
I see.
because she's using that stuff.
So, which Moors' fault was it when they murdered so many of us and lynched us in the 1800s? You know what I mean? When we were calling ourselves Negro, Black, and Colored. When nobody was going around and, you know, and standing up as a Moor.
Right now, it's interesting that you bring that up, because that's what this is why when people make statements like killing of fallen humanity, and then they're talking about everybody, we quickly slap these people and let them realize that humanity means women first, not everybody. So humanity, Mother Anita said the same thing on the show the other night. That also, you guys are pretty much saying that, you know, until Moors, nobody was getting killed. So nobody was getting killed before Moors started talking about whatever. Shut the hell up, you guys are full of BS. People been getting killed around here, and the reason why they're getting killed is because they're not Moors. And like we were reading yesterday, the treaty identifies Moors are protected if a European does something wrong. Moors are protected, not black people, not African Americans, not African Canadians, not Caribbean, West Indian, whatever like that. Moors. That's the only individuals mentioned. Turks aren't protected, no Egyptians, none of that. No Hebrews, Garveyites, nobody's not mentioned, only Moors. In the treaty. Right? So, you know, when you say, I don't understand where he's coming from. Yeah, well, you know, you're dealing with somebody who claims that they're more, but they have a nigger mentality.
Wow.
Niggas say that they're more all they want, but if your mind is a nigger, you're probably nigger. Don't even try to play like you're more than you are, or whatever like that. You know, that's why we're saying that this is not something that you can just put out there and not be. If you say you're a carpenter, you better be able to build some stuff. We talk about you're a carpenter and then we're calling you over, and then, you know, you got feet up talking about, yeah, you know, bring some water and we get some and hole in the ceiling still.
And don't complain about the way another carpenter built something.
Right?
You know what I mean? Just because he didn't do
Just
it your
because they
way.
do it your way. Right? Any comments or questions? That's good. So I wanted to read from Black Power book, The Politics of Liberation in America. Since the Black Power people don't read their own stuff or whatever. Let's see what Kwame Toure's perspective of Black Power was, and let's see if it relates to the people who are around today that call them Black Power. Because, you know, this is their foundation. This is their master teacher. This is their, you know, reference point for what Black Power is. The adoption of the concept of Black Power is one of most legitimate and healthy developments in American politics and race relations in our time. The concept of black power speaks to all the needs mentioned in this chapter. It is a call for black people in this country to unite, to recognize their heritage, to build a sense of community. It is a call for black people to begin to define their own goals, to lead their own organizations, and to support those organizations. It is a call to reject the racist institutions and values of this society. The concept of black power rests on a fundamental premise. Before a group can enter the open society, it must first close its ranks. By this we mean the group solidarity is necessary before a group can operate effectively from a bargaining position of strength in a pluralistic society. Traditionally, each new ethnic group in the society has found the route to social and political viability through the organization of its own institutions, which to represent its needs within the larger society. Right, yeah, clearly, except black people. Right, everybody knows what's up. Studies in voting behavior, specifically, and political behavior generally, have made it clear that politically the American pot has not melted. Italians vote for Rubino over O'Brien, Irish for Murphy over Goldberg, etc. This phenomenon may seem distasteful to some, but it has been and remains today a central fact of the American political system. So the fact of the political system is that the national is going to back his nation before he backs anything else. The Italian's going to back the Italians. The Italian's going to go eat their rigatoni, spaghetti with the sauce and all that stuff, and they might go indulge in some rice and peas on an occasion, but they're about what they got, right? Nation backs the nation. Chinese, they got their buffet or whatever. They got their cat feet chicken wings. And they only eat their stuff. They're not eating nobody else's stuff. Right? You name them. Right? The Ethiopians, they're going to go to their Ethiopian, they're going to have their injera and all that stuff, and that's all. You're not going to go to, the Ethiopians go get a hamburger. Right? The nations are backed by their nationals.
And not only that, but just an aside kind of thing. All these people who come from different countries, and English is not their first language, their communities are so strong that they can be here for 50 years and never learn to speak English because the older people, because they got everything they need in their communities and they can speak their language and they don't have to assimilate. They don't have to. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying it's a fact. Their communities are strong enough that they don't have to learn their children go to school, and they'll learn, but they don't have to learn how to speak a word of English, and they prosper just fine.
Just fine.
They were taught the power of numbers. They were taught.
Well, they have their numbers in the community.
That's what I said. They were taught. So we weren't taught.
And they brought. You said. Remember yesterday? You said you come here. Things were different in the old country, and you come here and things are, corrupt. Let's put it that way. They came from the old country, but they brought that old country here and they kept it going.
Right.
So.
And I said, you come here, you go to school here, you go into society here. They also do that.
Right.
When their people learn anything, doesn't matter which area of knowledge they obtain, they go back and teach their people, and they also teach their people in the temples, in the basement.
Right.
On the weekends.
That's right.
So the scholar who goes out to be an engineer, politician, a policeman, whatever, he's going to church and he's going in the basement to teach the old people and the younger ones.
That's right.
About the modern knowledge.
Right.
And how to deal with it and how to come back, go make the money, come back here and do this.
And then do it all over.
5 trucks, only hire Indians. We're going to teach them how to drive it and they're going to work for us.
And that's why the prophet said,
so
every temple has to have a school.
Right. You know that you've heard of the 100 monkey syndrome?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's in effect. That's what's being played. When you're talking about Ron Artest, he was a provoker to swindle people from not getting truth.
Right.
He's
even though he has it.
Yeah, but he has to do what he's working.
Right.
That's his
Right.
job.
That's the agenda.
It's called the pippin. That's all they're doing.